Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be looking into the case of Travis Alexander, who was murdered by his psychopathic ex-girlfriend, Jodi Arias. Jodi Arias is a psychopath in my opinion, and she was convicted for killing her ex-boyfriend, Travis Alexander, in 2008 in America. Jodi and Travis had dated for a few months, but they'd split up the year before his death in 2007. Since that time, Jodi wouldn't give up on their relationship. She was stalking him. His friends were aware that she was a nut job and he couldn't get rid of her. The problem for Travis is he couldn't seem to stop sleeping with Jodi, and that is what encouraged her, and ultimately, not that that's an excuse, but ultimately that's what led her to murder him, because she couldn't handle the fact that he was finishing with her and that their relationship was over. Travis's friends couldn't get hold of him for a few days. They went to his home in Mesa in America to look for him. Unfortunately, what they found was an extremely grisly scene. Jodi had shot Travis. She'd also stabbed him, and the scene, it must have been horrific. I imagine that there was blood everywhere, and the way that she'd murdered him and left him for dead, he obviously was dead, it must have been truly horrific for his friends to find him like that. The crime scene must have been extremely horrific for his friends to witness and for the paramedics and the emergency services to witness. He'd been stabbed 29 times, and not only had Jodi stabbed him 29 times, she'd shot him and she'd also slashed his throat. As soon as his friends found him dead, I think they all started to think Jodi had done it. They told the police that his ex-girlfriend had been stalking him and that they thought she was responsible for the murder. After the murder, Jodi had set off and gone to stay with an ex-boyfriend who she slept with pretty much immediately after arriving where he lived, and having the same day slept with Travis and murdered him. On the way to her ex-boyfriend's house, Jodi had called Travis and left a voice message on his answer phone on his mobile. On that message, she was claiming that she was going off somewhere for a day trip with a friend, and did he want to come, and that she hoped he was okay, and she hoped they'd see each other soon. A load of old bullshit, and it was all just to cover her track so that the police didn't think it was her. If you haven't already seen the police interviews of Jodi being interviewed on suspicion of murder, do watch them, because from a psychological point of view they are extremely interesting. Her body language is very strange. The way she behaves is extremely strange. She tries to distract the police. She tries to spin a lie that there'd been an invasion at the house and perhaps someone had attacked both of them and left Travis for dead, and she'd managed to escape. Again, a load of old lies, and it took quite a while for her to finally admit that she had killed Travis. She then does admit to killing Travis, but at first tries to claim it was in self-defense, that he'd attacked her. Later in the court case, it does come out it wasn't self-defense. She's then found guilty of murder. Sentenced to life, and she is currently serving her life sentence in the Arizona State Prison Complex. She was looking at the death penalty, but one of the jurors out of a number of jurors didn't agree to that, and unfortunately for Travis's family and for justice purposes, Jodi wasn't given the death sentence. She was given a whole life term. Travis was a devout Mormon, and Jodi converted to Mormonism in 2006 when she began to date Travis. I believe she did this in order to be appealing to him. I presume she wanted to marry him and spend the rest of her life with him, because she was pretty much obsessed with him. So she did convert to Mormonism. That clearly didn't change his mind and make him want to marry her. I think he'd already started to realise in the lead up to finishing their relationship, if you can even call it that, he'd begun to realise that she was crazy. The court case is readily available to watch on the internet, and again, from a psychological point of view, it is a really good watch. I'd recommend that you watch it. The way she behaves is extremely strange. She seems to have no remorse for the murder, makes excuses as to why it happened. You know, she's just a horrible person, and what she did to Travis is so awful. It's one of the most horrific and grisly murder cases that I've ever looked into. Thoughts on this are that the way Travis was murdered, it doesn't say to me that someone had murdered for the first time. The injuries that he sustained were so horrific, and the fact that she slit his throat, I believe that she'd already been stabbing him. There was probably no need to do that. There was no need to murder him in the first place. but the injuries that he sustained are so horrific and so harsh and horrible and unthinkable. I believe Jodi's murdered before. Whether any of the police in America looked into Jodi's previous partners, any other sexual partners that she'd had throughout her lifetime, because I really wouldn't be surprised if one of them had also come to a grisly end. The way that she killed Travis was so horrific. The injuries that he sustained are some of the worst that I've ever seen a woman dish out to someone in my entire life, and I have looked into a lot of murder cases over my years of being on this planet, and I don't think I've ever really seen a woman commit such acts of violence and then show no remorse for it. That is why I truly believe that Jodi Arias is a psychopath, and not only do I believe that she is a psychopath through and through, I believe that she has committed murder before. Anyway guys, this was just a quick look into the case of Travis Alexander and Jodi Arias and his tragic murder in 2008, and I'd love to know your views on this case. I'd love to know if you think Jodi has committed murder before, and I would also love to know your views on whether you think she's a psychopath. Personally, I don't see how anyone can argue with that. She clearly is a psychopath, and as I say, I do believe she's committed murder before. Anyway guys, I hope you're all staying safe through these crazy times with coronavirus spreading throughout the world. I really hope you haven't lost any loved ones or friends. I know this is an extremely hard time for everyone, so try and stay positive and stay safe. Try and do something every day that makes you happy. I really hope you're enjoying my content and my new videos. Like and subscribe. Tell your friends about my channel if they're into true crime. I should be uploading another video in about a week's time. I'm not fully certain what it's going to be about, but it'll be another cold case, perhaps a murder or a missing person. And as I say, I should be back in about a week's time. So stay safe everyone. Take care now, and it's been great talking to you again. Bye for now.